Ew.
Sorry.
I think you see brass in this?
No.
All I see is shimmer.
Thanks,
I don't see any
babe.
brass.
Thank you. You would tell me. I know you would.
So, hi friends, my name's host Eric. I'm the host Talking with Principal. You may remember me from such live streams as the one that we ended not that long ago. Why are you streaming again then, Eric? Well, I've had a bath, I got a cup of coffee and a cigarette, and instead of it seeming like, good notification. Instead of it seeming like an unpleasant pain in the ass, it seems like a pleasant pain in the ass. So here I am again. The topic of this is proving Alcoholics Anonymous wrong for 7 years. But that's an unfair title. Because first of all, let me just say, I could never quit drinking without them. And I give them a lot of credit and respect. And I appreciate Alcoholics Anonymous a great deal. However, when the members of Alcoholics Anonymous, not their actual book, which is their big book, which says they have no opinions on matters other than alcoholism, but when their actual members conclude that I'm not sober because I still want to smoke weed, their justification is because you can't both do head changey stuff and continue to not drink. You'll start drinking again. And I said, well, I'll prove you wrong on that, motherfuckers. And I've been doing it for the last 7 years. I've been doing my drugs as I see fit. I've been doing amphetamines. I've been smoking weed. I've taken mushrooms a couple of occasions. I took acid once. And I have not started drinking again. And it's been 7 years now and counting. Today is my 7th year birthday.
Yeah, it
my
is.
Sober birthday.
I'm proud of you.
Of course, I haven't really been sober for 7 years, but I have not willfully drank any alcohol for 7 years.
Your spot, baby.
And it makes all the difference in the world for me.
Yes, ENTP. That's your towel over there.
Delilah has expressed to me on a few occasions that one of her biggest fears is that I would start drinking again.
She has nightmares about it.
She was somewhat traumatized by me being a drunk when she was little, I guess. More than I expected.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's reasonable. It's reasonable. But even though I love Alcoholics Anonymous and I'm very grateful to them for all their help and credit them ultimately for making this possible, still by far the most satisfying part of this is, fuck you. I told you,
I know, it's so annoying. That's why I didn't like to go to meetings, because I would be like stoned at meetings and I'm like, can I even be here right now? Because like these people will fucking judge me if they know. I did go to one meeting where I was like, I told you about this. I'm sorry. I've said it so many times, but I was just like, it was someone's anniversary. I was really proud of them because it's not easy. And I wanted to celebrate. I was invited to the celebration, but I like stood up and I was like, I just want to be like real with everyone here. I am high right now and I smoked weed before coming here. I'm here to celebrate my friend's sober 7 years. I think it was also like 10 years. And please like don't come up to me and try to
bust my job.
Yeah. Because I'm not here for that.
The thing is, I had conversations with my sponsor about it, and my position was to argue my case and say, but it says right here in your book, in our book, that was supposedly our little Bible or whatever.
Yeah.
Your like big sacred book of Alcoholics Anonymous, that Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on any matters other than alcoholism. In fact, Bill W. himself, the guy who invented Alcoholics Anonymous, took acid after he quit drinking and still didn't consider himself to have gone off the wagon.
That says a lot. So what happened? People are looking for an excuse for their habits?
I mean, I think I think sort of mission creep happened with AA. That they thought they mistook being not a drunk, being not drinking, for being sober. Because they use the word sober in the book, right?
Yeah.
A lot. But and they mean by sober not drinking alcohol. But because the book was written back before drugs really were a big deal. Mm-hmm. But there is a story in there of one person who they said their difficulty was that they had an additional problem besides alcohol, but even they were able to recover from their alcohol problem.
Yeah, that's what the focus is most on.
And people speculate in the program that the thing that's referred to in that story is the person was addicted to some sort of morphine-ish thing, like laudanum. They had this thing called laudanum back in the day that you could get over the counter that had morphine in it, you know. And a lot of people got addicted to it. So, and there's this one story in the book that said this guy was able to recover from his alcoholism despite having an ongoing addiction to laudanum. Is what it doesn't say explicitly what it is, but it's assumed that's what it's assumed to be. And didn't matter. My logic didn't matter and I realized that pretty quickly because I'd go into a meeting and they'd say at the outset of the meeting, if you've consumed any mind or mood altering substance in the last 24 hours, please refrain from speaking.
Wow.
So I said, okay, well, fuck you guys.
Yeah, I'd be like, out of there. That's so.
Fuck you guys, because this is supposed to be an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. And if you want to say, I'm fine with the rule, if you've drank within the last 24 hours, please refrain from speaking. Somebody will come up and talk to you after the meeting. That's fine for newcomers, for people who are just still like coming in, rolling in, half drunk, who need intervention.
Yeah.
That rule is fine because it's Alcoholics Anonymous. It's not Drugs Anonymous or whatever.
Actually, Winston's mom, but this is just me. So when I was going to the program at Mercy for like my drug treatment, they recommended AA, and they actually did check up to make sure that like you were going to like meetings and stuff. So I went to some meetings, and of
course this was somebody else diagnosing you with alcoholism or drug addiction, not yourself diagnosing.
No.
When I went to AA, I was self-diagnosing as an alcoholic who needed some sort of interventionary help. And so, of course, it was able to work for me because it was actually a real problem of mine that I actually wanted solved. With Rachel, they're trying to impose their frame of reference on her. She's not an alcoholic or a drug addict at all. I mean, she's a pothead, that's for sure. But that doesn't count for shit, you know?
I've claimed my potheadedness.
Yeah, you're a pothead.
I remember, like...
The big difference between pothead and a drug addict.
So, like, there was this time when I was living at home with my parents in New York, and I was, like, having a fight with my mom. She's like, oh, you smell like weed again. And I would be like, yeah, well, you know what? I'm a fucking pothead. You know what? I'm a pothead. There you go. Like, I claim my potheadedness.
You own your potheadedness.
Yeah.
Right. It's the sort of thing one should own because there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
You know, well, it's like when my dad came out yesterday. Now, granted, we were smoking joints of very smelly weed, so it was really, I'm sure, smelling up the whole neighborhood. But he's like, you can smell it over on the other block. Like, well, good for the neighborhood. Congratulations, they've heard you get that wonderful smell.
That's such a good answer. It was such a good answer. And I don't judge people who prefer liquor over weed. Like, I don't.
I don't think. Like, you may catch me saying periodically, liquor is bad or alcohol's bad or alcohol's the worst drug or whatever. But I want to stress, as I have, that my fundamental position on the matter is, I don't have an opinion on your drug or alcohol use. That's your business.
kitty, Ma. You are out of water.
Well, he's a TE dom, Winston's mom, so, well, it's legal. Changes everything, The rules have changed, so everything's different. But the other thing, Winston's mom, is it's an SI thing that he knew me when I was an alcoholic, too. And I've indicated to him that this is part of my...
You're not getting scared. You're getting so great, PNC. Yes.
And so I've explained to him that this is sort of part of my treatment for my alcoholism, as I would put it. And so he sees it as the vastly preferable alternative to me being drunk.
You're such a good girl. Yes.
In part two, that's part of the reason as well.
Yes. Yes.
Because, he sees me smoke pot all the time, and he never encounters me intoxicated in a way that represents to him losing control,
No.
ESTJs put a lot of value on control in general.
Yeah.
They want to control everything.
Me, like, here's what I was thinking. When I went back to New York, I was thinking, okay, I'm here. I'm going to start making money and move. Like, I wanted to move. Since I went back, I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like, but.
You mean since you went back from North Carolina, bro?
Yeah. But I had trouble. It's not easy. Like, it wasn't easy for me. I had to go back to school again. And then most places, like, you start out at like $15. So you can save, but like I was paying my bills at the same time. And my mom was like, pay your bills. That's more important. Like, you can stay. But it was like under her terms. So it was really like, I was thinking I was being like, if this were my child, I'd just be so happy to have my child home that I wouldn't like care.
The other thing is when Rachel's mental health thing was not being properly treated, she had a lot more middle fingeriness about her.
Yeah.
Than she does now.
Yeah, I was very, very middle fingery, and I one time was so middle fingery, like they sent me to the emergency room. The irony is that from my stay, so I was first hospitalized in North Carolina at Duke University, and they said, okay, we can let you go, but you have to get treatment. That's like, I don't know, they do that for everyone. They just like, for your mental health, we have to make sure that like you follow up the program, you're out of here. So my mom found Mercy for a program, and in the note from Duke University, it says, like from the hospital, it said nothing about marijuana. There was nothing about it, just that I was suffering from bipolar. There was nothing about weed. And I would always throw that in their face. I'd be like, if you look in my file from the first letter that we ever got from North Carolina, there was nothing that said weed in it. But they didn't listen to me.
But the cool thing is, she got to completely, utterly, crushingly, definitively, and forevermore win that argument.
Mm-hmm.
And what could be more satisfying than that?
It is.
Now, nobody in her family dares even mention the subject or come near the subject because they know that whatever power once gave them over her has now reversed 100%, and it affords her power over them because they've been proved to have been wrong that whole time, and just not having been listening to her the whole time.
Thank you.
And they also know that I'm there to articulate that very clearly for them if need be.
Thank you.
My pleasure, darling. I mean, I'll you're the kind of person I want to be with, somebody who like my ways are perfect for. You know, it's like your problems needed my solutions.
Mm-hmm. That's why I say, like, it really is like I'm writing everything a new book. It's just a new life. It really is.
It's called Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel joins the Strauss family.
Mm-hmm. And I really do feel a part of it. You know, I care about your family. They're my own.
You know, we have our own quirks too, of course.
Yeah, like I do sometimes.
My dad's a trip sometimes.
Yes. But
this thing about the house. You know, the thing is, he justified. I know. I just removed it because I don't know why you would even put that there. It seems like some creepy shit to me too. What was he saying?
Your dad?
Oh, right.
Oh, with the house?
You know, he discovered the front door was unlocked
the
other morning, and is sure that he locked it. Okay, well, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. It's hard. There's no way for me to know for sure. Historically, I would say I put the benefit of the doubt of my dad. He's not. He typically is one who, at the very least, knows if he knows, you know? And he's very certain that he knows he locked it. Okay, he locked it, I guess. And yet it was unlocked in the morning. Well, how did it get unlocked? I didn't unlock it. Rachel didn't unlock it. No. Well, he did ask that, you know. Hey, but no, he didn't actually ask that. He came out with his theory, which is that Alex has walked through the house and to play a prank on us of some sort.
Alex is the next door neighbor.
Alex is the guy who lives next door, who's like 25 and who graduated from UC Berkeley. And now, when I point out that makes no sense. Why is there any indication at all that anybody walked through the house besides the fact that the front door is unlocked? He says no, directly. There's no equivocation on that. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, then why would he do that? He said, well, he was the one who was pranking us with leaving the gate open.
Yeah, he did. I really wanted to laugh.
He justified this crazy theory with his previous crazy theory that Alex, the neighbor guy, was pranking us by leaving the gate open.
And I'm so glad you told me
during that time, it was almost certainly my mom who had dementia who was doing it. Because most of those instances, she was still mobile.
I think.
Okay, what's wrong with you, you mad bro?
Yeah, what's going on? It's true what Winston's mom said.
Yeah, it's not going to say anything. Jesus. Anyway, so he justified his current crazy theory by pointing to the fact that his previous crazy theory, which was crazy, was correct, which of course it hadn't been, right? Now, how did he originally come up with his original crazy theory that Alex was leaving the gate open? Because of one thing that he couldn't explain, and that I can't explain, and that nobody else can explain, I'm sure either, which is he got a ticket from the Bay Area for his car with his license plate and his make and model written down on it. It's a toll. You drove through a toll part without paying the toll. It's like it wasn't a ticket. It was, if you pay the toll within time, then you will have paid the toll successfully. And the thing is, he wasn't in the Bay Area, and his car wasn't in the Bay Area during this time when this toll evasion occurred. So what exactly happened? I don't know. I don't know how his car got a toll evasion when his car and him were nowhere near the Bay Area when that occurred. I don't know how that happened. Neither did he. Neither does anybody, I'm sure. But
Unsolved mystery.
here's the thing. At the time, Alex was still attending school at UC Berkeley. So my dad put 2 and 2 together and concluded that it was Alex who had done it.
TinyMan66. So cure my fibromyalgia. I used to have fibromyalgia.
I don't even know exactly what that is.
It's like pain throughout the body. It's like soreness throughout the body. And I because like I used to like, I don't know. I find that like it occurs when I'm stressed. Anyway, I did find that weed helped.
So smoke a lot of weed.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, I don't know. I haven't. Winston's mom's explanation possibly makes some sense. I'm not sure. No, I didn't check the picture online. I don't know if my dad did. By the time I heard this whole story, it had been maybe a month since it had all gone down with the ticket thing, right? So I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. I don't have enough information to tell you what actually happened there. But I do have this following information to tell you. My dad concluded that it must have been Alex who had something to do with this. Because, why? Well, Alex knows my dad, and Alex is the only person my dad knows who's also in the Bay Area at the time when this occurred. I mean, what do you do with that? You just say, but Dad, that's not a logical, it makes no sense.
And how do you say that to him, though? That's the thing.
Oh, well, there's a source of your fibromyalgia, TinyMan66. You need to stop taking speed.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm drinking water right now, actually. Definitely. It's salts.
So, the thing is, this is the thing that started his original suspicion of Alex, was this random ticket we got from the Bay Area. From that suspicion, he concluded that it must be Alex who's leaving the gate open as a prank on us. And he uses that random theory to justify his new random theory that Alex has walked through the house, leaving no sign of having walked through the house except for leaving the front door unlocked. That's antipolar, just blowing my mind, right?
Yeah. I think he might have left it unlocked.
Well, that's the thing. It's also the case that my dad is showing some signs of age.
That's showing signs of age. It's very important to make a difference.
Yes, Oliver Linehan, actually it was that bad 30 years ago. I remember a specific instance when this is before I started smoking cigarettes, okay? I was still in middle school. And he came inside and put down on the table one of these cellophanes, okay, that what he had found up against our garage door, and would not accept the reality that I hadn't started smoking. Kept insisting that I was a smoker, that I had started smoking. Eric, I know what this is. I know what it is too, Dad. Just admit it. You're smoking. But I'm not smoking.
How old were you?
I was in middle school. And he wouldn't believe me. In the end, He ended it very much like he ended his conversation with Delilah. I don't want to argue with you anymore. Not with, I believe you. Not with, okay, fine. I mean, I don't know how did it get there then? I don't know.
I know.
It blew there from the wind?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I have no idea how it got there. The point is, I haven't started smoking. I'm in 8th grade or whatever. And, maybe there's a lot of factors that maybe say, okay, there's reasons to suspect your 8th grader started smoking. Okay, fine. But from this, in our driveway one time, to just insisting that I started smoking and not believing me, no matter how much I insisted I didn't, is just, that's bipolar.
And that's why people lie to ESTJs, because sometimes it's just like there's like no explanation. So you just lie instead. I don't know. I did. I used to a lot.
So the thing is, I'm not completely confident about his memory anymore. I'm not sure if that's actually, if I have good cause to not be or not. It could be, your mother once asked me if the reason you ate sunflower seeds was because they had LSD in them. She said someone told her this is a beauty salon.
That's funny. That would come from a beauty salon.
You should have said, yep, want some? You're a Zach. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you spell with a Q, though. It makes you a little bit different from the other Zachs.
It is. Kind of reminds me of like a name for a laser tag place. I don't know why. Like Zach.
If you were an African American woman, maybe you could call yourself Zaqui. It sounds like a good name.
It does sound like a good name.
Zaqui sounds like a good name for, also, I think, the name for a cruise ship.
Oh, I like that.
The Zaqui.
Zaqui. Oh, look at that. Ismail is an actor known for playing Tim Lunn in Doctor Who.
Oh, Zaki.
Zaki.
Is that how you spell it? Zaki or is it
Zaki
Zaqui?
Ismaili is an actor known for playing Tim Lunn in Doctor Who. Pogs are not fun. They're just like, pogs are fine.
I want to change my name to Zaquashanel. What do you think?
I think it's good.
Zaquashanel Strauss.
It shows your other roots.
If I wanted to be more masculine, I could call myself Zaquashanello Strauss.
Zaquashanello.
Zaquashanello.
Depends on the day, Zaqui sounds like a non-binary pronoun.
Zaquashanello.
Yeah, Zaquashanel Strauss 2024. You got it, Oliver
Zaquashanello.
Zaquashanello.
Zaquashanello Buttery Bumps Strauss. Zaquashanello Buttery Bumps Strauss. I think that's a good name for me. Buttery Bumps is a good name for a middle name.
Yeah, it is. It is.
If you wanted to, you could put it in scare quotes and make it a nickname. Zaquashanello Buttery Bumps Strauss. That'd be fine too.
Ooh, can I do that? That's what I would do.
You put it in quotes?
Yeah, I would put it in quotes.
All right. People call me Butt for short.
But for short.
Okay, I'm not sure it needs a duh in front of it, but let's see. Zaquashanel Angelo. Oh
my gosh.
Zaquashanel Angelo. Zaquashanangelo would almost be better than that. That's too many syllables. I think Zaquashanelano Buttery Bumps Strauss.
Zaquashanangelo.
Zaquashanelano. Zaquashanelano really rolls off the tongue, right? Zaquash. It's a mix between zucchini and a squash. Squash, anelino.
Anelino, yeah.
Anelino.
Squash, anelino. If it's easy for me to say, it's an easy word.
It's like NLNO, right? Like NL and O, right? Anelino. Squash, anelino. Squash, anelino, buttery bumps, Strauss.
Mm. I enjoy ham bones.
Squashinello, buttery bump, Strauss. Because I do want the masculine.
Buttery
form.
bumps.
Yeah. Because buttery bumps already bring a certain femininity to it, so I want the O at the end to make sure that I have the masculine quality in the name as well as Squashinello. Or maybe it could just be Squashino. Squashino, buttery bumps, Strauss. That's a good name, right?
That is a good name.
Squashino, buttery bumps, Strauss. You're gay. Congratulations. I'm Squashino, buttery bumps, Strauss.
Buttery bumps.
Squashino, buttery bumps. It's spelled like this, by the way. It's not spelled two words. It's spelled with an I. Squashino, buttery bumps, Strauss.
Wow, I love that. That looks great. I like the I instead of the Y.
Yeah, right.
Squashino, buttery bumps, Strauss. It really does sound nice.
Mm-hmm. And now we'll turn to the work of the author named Squashino, buttery bumps, Strauss. We're focused on exploration of the insect kingdom as a professional entomologist from the years 2014 through 2035, making many remarkable discoveries about the lives of insects. That's the story between of Dr. Squashino, buttery bumps, Strauss. He's an entomologist. He studies insects.
If you could have your own Groundhog's days, would you? Why or why not?
No, I don't want to repeat the same thing over and over again. Once I've done something, that's good enough. Proves AA wrong while becomes Squashino, buttery bump. While becoming, yes. Squashino, buttery bump, Strauss is the kind of person you want to ask questions to. You want to say, "Hey, Squashino, what's up with your name?"
So, Zealand Black, I would not, and the reason why I wouldn't is because when I watched the movie Groundhog's Day, I got frustrated a little bit, and I wanted the plot to move more during it. So I was like, I would not want to have this happen to me. This does not sound. But it's good for. I mean.
But you did realize that you could use more life insurance, right? Am I right or am I right or am I right? I'm right. Yeah.
It's good. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that it's not a good movie. It's a good movie. But I don't think that I wouldn't. You know what is like that? Eternal Sunshine's like that in that it poses the question, if you could like erase someone from your mind, like would you, and would it happen again? Like would you just like erase them but like still meet up with them anyway? And I think you would.
The funny thing is, the bar, Carl Jung died before Myers and Briggs made up their types. So I'm not quite sure how he could have changed his MBTI type. How he could have said that his MBTI type changed. Keeping in mind that he was dead before they made their typology system, please do explain to me how it was that he said his MBTI type changed. It was cognitive function type. Well, what did he say it changed from? Into what? From what to what? Did he say he used to be more meow, but now he's more meow or something?
Yeah, I wonder. That's funny. See, Mr. Drunk. I didn't brush my teeth today, but I feel like I need to. But I'm still not going to do it.
I'll brush the fuck out of my teeth before I took a bath.
That toothpaste, works though.
It's great, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You want some good toothpaste, you try this Aqua Fresh, whatever it's called, toothpaste.
It's like ultra cleaning. It's white striped and orange striped. It's not the regular like...
I'm going to bring it outside and show it to everybody.
Yeah, because it's really worth it. My INFP friend showers once a week, if not less, and brushes her teeth even less. Is this common IXFP thing? I don't know. Maybe. I actually think that my INFP friends' hygiene was better than mine, to be frank. INFJs are pretty bad. Well, yeah, so SE Polar definitely would make it more of a meow to extra clean. Extreme clean. Ooh, I like that it has alliteration.
It says here, original experience plus whitening. So this is the Aquafresh Extreme Clean Original Experience, okay? If you want to really haven't wiped your ass in 10 years, that is a dirty ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Abe Lincoln is famous for having said that. So get Aquafresh brand Extreme Clean Original Experience plus whitening, okay?
And it does have whitening.
Plus whitening.
Mm-hmm.
It's an Extreme Clean Original Experience. And I tell you, it tastes just like the dentist office.
Mm-hmm, like the fluoride rinse they give you after you're done. So you really feel like you're getting your teeth cleaned.
Scroll up to O2. What am I looking at here at O2? Am I looking at your cognitive function type thing? Wait, what am I? Who said to scroll up?
Salem Black. I shower once a week. I hate transitions, but I don't do anything.
I was wondering if it could be a good test question.
Oh.
I was surprised by some SI answers I heard. What's the question? Let me look. Oh, if you could have your own Groundhog Day. Oh, yeah, that is a good SI question. What would be your answer, Rachel?
If I could
have your own Groundhog Day, would you? Why or why not?
I said no.
You said no.
Yeah, because I watched the film and I was like, I wanted to speed up some parts of the film. So if that means that I wanted to speed up some of the film, I would get very anxiety ridden.
But look, here's the thing. What I'm not factoring in about Groundhog Day is he got to change how he experienced it every day. So he got to do it perfect. So it's like, would I like to Groundhog Day specific days to do them more perfectly? Yeah, there's a couple specific days I could think I'd like to do them more perfectly. They're actually ones that I did well to begin with, but wish I had done it a little bit better. It's like, I can think of a couple of days that I killed it that day, but I fucked up this one thing that I wish I hadn't fucked up. Those days I might want. I've got a couple of days in mind, for sure. But if you're asking me, is there any day in your life you'd like to relive in exchange for a new day tomorrow? The answer is no.
The answer is no for me.
Even once, though? Let me see. I mean, he was right about his own theory. It was a childish parlor game at the time. I mean, he was right to be skeptical about it because he didn't have it explained well. He had intuited a really powerful concept and had not articulated it correctly. So, I mean, at the time, you're right. It was. As you said, he said that about his own theory. That's correct. So, yeah, his own theory is a childish parlor game. And it's appropriate to be skeptical about it as Jung articulates it. And MBTI as well, and socionics as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not actually making a real model about something. And we can tell those things by being able to draw clear distinctions between taxonomies, models, and other forms of NI, extra logical knowing, so to speak, that might be either neither model nor taxonomy.
You know what's nice? Now that we know that, I've said this so many times, I know I have, I'm sorry, but now that we know that my sister's ISFJ, like, I really hope that she meets an ESTP. I really do. Like, I think that that's ultimately what she's been looking for, but maybe thought couldn't attain.
Well, I want to return briefly to the bar here because what I want to point out to him is that the bar, you're a representative of something that happens here a lot of people. A lot of people think they can come in and critique what I'm saying about cognitive function and personality by critiquing something else. But I don't ascribe to other things than what I ascribe to and say. So since I'm not affirming Carl Jung's theory, it won't work to critique it around here. Since I'm not affirming MBTI or socionics, it won't work to critique it around here. And since you obviously haven't even done enough research to know what my position is and how I maintain it to be the exclusively correct position and to be an actual model rather than a taxonomy or something else, then you're just another example of somebody coming in who thinks they're going to cleverly waste my time, thinks they're going to cleverly get me, but is really just here to waste my time. Because I've encountered your bullshit a million times before from a million different people. Eric, you're a hypocrite. Come at me, baby. Seamus, I've asked you not to call me baby.
There's going to be an edibles place opening on Duarte. 1086 East Huntington.
Cool. That's in Duarte, so that's pretty far down. It's by the 605.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think it's weird that you came in here wanting to negate without knowing that first, but let's start you off here. And I will anticipate your response, which is going to be something along the lines of, oh, no, thanks. I don't want to do that work. Let's see here. Let's start with this. And then we'll get you exciting tables and words as well about human personality. A little bit dated, but still very much relevant. There are some things in this one here that I currently disavow, that I've excised from my understanding of things. But in the second link, but yeah, I guess so. I mean, the thing is, it's fairly complicated to explain. I was actually planning on making tonight a video that says, here's where I am and here's what I need to still understand. And it has to do with the mechanics of agent, object, subject perspective, plus attentional manners that seem to express naturally as agent, object, subject. So, for example, an action function would seem to express most naturally the subject, whereas a knowledge function would seem to express most naturally as an agent, etc. So I need to figure out somewhat how to take the observed reality that people exist as observers, as subjects, and as objects, and that's a relevant perspective angle in the mechanics of cognitive functions, and how to integrate that into the full understanding of slot mechanics is what I need to get to. An example of it is Fi for me in the 7th slot. I treat it as an absolute value. See, this is the other vector that comes in and makes it extra complicated, is the absolute instrumental value aspect. So I treat my introvert feelings as an absolute value, but I am more or less, I only know them, I guess, only attend to them as, I think, an agent, perhaps, in the sense that I can only have positive Fi as an agent where I'm knowing Fi things in media and stuff. If I'm asked to be an object of Fi, in other words, if I'm not knowing the Fi I want to know, if I'm knowing Fi I don't want to know, for example, a video about how this species of cute animal is being hunted to extinction or something, it's really going to stick with me and hurt my heart a lot. Well, then I feel very negatively about it. So that'd be, again, absolute value. As an object, it's a very countervalued absolute value, probably most of the time. As an agent, it's a positively valued absolute value most of the time, which is to say, when I know myself through my own emotions in a healthy and happy way, then that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. And it's only a good thing in and of itself. It's not a good thing for any reason, not for any other reason than just being a good thing inherently. But when I'm subjected to Fi stuff, to be subjected to something means to be rendered into an object, right? So in other words, when I was subjected to a lot of Fi critique from Kimberly, or a lot of Fi attacks, I handled it poorly. I didn't like it, certainly. And what we can conclude is that basically I was unable to pay attention to that. I was unable to use that manner of attention to pay attention through that perspective of an object in a meaningful way that somebody with a non-polar slot would be able to engage with. However, the thing is, that may itself change depending on the kind of function it is in your polar. So Rachel has TE as a polar, and I was speculating that instrumentally, she doesn't mind seeming to be an object of TE, which would mean here's a step-by-step protocols for you to follow, Rachel. She'd like that. That's much better than figure this out, Eric. Rachel, you know? Mm-hmm. But she probably doesn't particularly like to be an agent or a subject with TE at all, and finds it almost impossible to be that.
Oh my gosh, it's so...
So is it possible that because I see Fi as being a agent kind of a function, and I see TE as being a subject kind of a function, that what we have an absolute value and a capacity to understand varies according to that, you see? So it's like, is it the case that it's universally so that the absolute value is the only kind of value you experience in the 7th slot? I think so. But what that means is TE is absolute value as an object, whereas Fi can only be absolute value as an agent. because of the nature of the function. And I'm not exactly sure what the mechanics of all that is. You see what I'm saying? So that's the aspect of cognitive functions I still need to understand correctly.
Yeah, it is interesting because even though ISFJs and INFJs have FI in the same slot, I see it work differently. It's so weird. Like, my sister's weird about FI too. Like, she doesn't like hugs. Like, she'd rather not get a hug. That's FE though, isn't it?
I mean, it depends. It could be somebody else's FI. You know, it's like if you're subjected to somebody else's FI, they're really like, oh my gosh, I love you so much. And they want to cling on to you. And that can be, that plays on an FE level,
True.
but it can be something like, okay, you know. You know, in that regard, you could be the object of somebody else's positive FI and still find it like, okay, I don't really want that thing. Like, you know, the cat gives us dead rodents.
Yep.
This is her being FI and saying, I love you and I want to give you
guys.
something nice. And we're like, I don't want that dead rat.
And it hurts me to do it.
She has trouble.
I do.
With she wants to react with positive FE to the cat's gift. Like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to hurt the cat's feelings.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Where does all this come
more about
from?
The cat's feelings than I do my family members. It's crazy. I'm like that with the other animals that come around too. I know what I want and I don't want in terms of the animals that comes around. Like when Pete comes around, I'll be like, thank you for not pooping on the deck. Like I know it sounds like I sound like a crazy person, but
the clarification of my positions comes from those two documents in Google Docs. If that's what you're asking. Where do all those ideas come from? Various places. But the good news is for you, the bar is you get to actually look at the ideas themselves and critique them on their merits. Of course, you'll need to spend some time reading.
Oh, you found this place on oh my goodness, I love it. When she curls up, I know she's extra tired when she goes like that.
What an adorable. What an adorable.
She curls up like a little bun. A Cinnabon. I try my best not to pet her when she's like that, but she's so freaking cute. See, I get a lot of my FI satisfaction from petting her. I like petting you too.
Thanks, darling.
You're welcome.
FE can be dying inside and outside itself smiles. Is this properly an attribute of FE? Yeah, it is. It's like Frank James said about what I thought my favorite Frank James line ever was, here's the INFJ in action. Is anybody else finding this game soul crushing? No? Let's keep playing.
That was the Monopoly game one. Yeah.
So, I mean, for people who want to be a team player, I like to think that the best way of summing up FE is valuing either instrumentally or absolutely, depending on where slot it's in, being a team player. So I take sort of an absolute value to being a team player that Rachel really doesn't.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, Rachel expects me to be very much a team player, like, hey, well, you know, if that's the end of the week, then let me have half of it too, to be fair, you know.
LOL.
Which is totally fine.
Okay.
Because the thing is, I'm happy to be a team player in and of itself. It's an absolute value for me. I like to
Yeah, you do.
I like to be in it's a form of selfishness as well. The person who always wants to be the one who's giving, never wants to be the one receiving, that's its own form of selfishness. It's like, no, I get to have the role of yeah, and you have to be in the role of yeah. Now, hopefully I never expressed that to you at all.
I don't really.
But I don't think Rachel and I have any problems with this area. But I'm just saying.
No, we don't, actually.
There is a resistance in both ESTPs and ENTPs to ask other people for things because we don't want to ever feel beholden because we don't think we're worth anything in and of ourselves. And as a consequence, we want to make sure that if need be, other people owe us something and not the other way around.
Hey, ABG.
You got no slots, huh? Congratulations. You're de-slotted.
De-slotted. Yeah.
Must make it difficult to speak. What with that talking slot all sealed up. Must be difficult to poop with your pooping slot non-existent. ABG. What type are we? Sassy, fierce, proud, woke. I'm a proud black woman.
Yeah.
I'm a sassy, proud black woman. What type are you?
Yeah.
What type are you, ABG?
I'm the type that likes to change her hair often. And I'm the type to look for 4-leaf clovers too.
You're the dab king? Well, as I said before, my name is what's my name again?
Buttery lumps.
Zaquashino Buttery Bumps.
Buttery
right.
Bumps.
Zaquashino Buttery Bumps. I'm a proud black woman who's as woke can be. And I'm also a traditional Chinese mother. I'm a tiger mother, concurrently.
Oh my gosh, that is so scary.
You better do that homework.
Mm-hmm.
You know you need 8 more hours of practicing. Mm-hmm. How else you gonna get into Harvard at 16, girl? It's my combination of racist jokes into one.
I like that.
Remember, I can't be racist because I'm fluidly transracial.
Yes, I'm multiracial, but he's transracial.
Right. So it's okay. Don't worry, anybody. Don't worry or be sensitive about anything because I can't be racist.
Yeah, he really can't. This is also something that he can't talk about in front of Delilah.
Right. Delilah doesn't like it.
She gets offended.
She gets offended when I say I'm transracial. And I just go, okay, well, I just won't talk about it around you.
Aw.
She says, she gets frustrated. She's like, Dad, you actually are really woke in so many ways, but then you say this bullshit like you're transracial and stuff. No, the thing is, my point, the meta-analyst approach is to say race will never be treated as it should be until we do nothing but laugh about it. Because it's such a ridiculous bunch of nonsense.
Thank you. I mean, that's how I feel about mental illness. Like this time last year,
mental illness is so much more real than race, though.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, mental illness is a real thing. But with race, it's like, it's what Oscar Wilde said about war. We will never stop having war until war stops being tragic and starts being ridiculous. Or something like that.
Yeah, that makes
I'm paraphrasing,
sense.
Right? But it's something like that. That's my take on race. We will never be seriously over and done with this stupidity until we treat it as ridiculous as it should be.
Yeah.
And, it's like we can draw a clear distinction between something like cognitive functions, which allows us to recognize that there's a cognitive equivalent to right and left-handedness that's natural and unavoidable, simply because you can't attend in multiple ways at the same time. So it's a basic exclusivity that's implicit to every observational truth we have. So, for example, the bar. You're determined to negate the legitimacy of personality types, even though I just linked you to 2 books that would allow you to actually quote my words and critique them. You choose not to. That tells me a lot about you. Tells me a lot about you.
He's an INFJ. Frank James is definitely an INFJ. Some of the things that he says.
Frank James is an INFJ.
Yeah.
Oliver Lynan, I'm glad to see you've begun doing fecal retention. That's good. Yeah. It's just as good as semen retention. That. It's just as good as semen retention. Okay, well, Zaylen Black, I get that you are trying to convey to me, I don't like this. And that it makes you cringe or whatever. And my point is, race always makes me cringe too.
So why not laugh about it?
That's why I make fun of it all the time. There you go. There's the quote, Running Fox. Now, what he meant by vulgar was that quote there is specific to his time period in which he thought that war was the work of sort of the gentleman class. And because they still saw it as heroic in some sense, it persisted. Whereas if they saw it as vulgar of the lower classes, then they wouldn't engage in it. So I'm sort of co-opting the expression and saying race is like war. Right now we treat it seriously and it's important. And so we afford it all of the fuel that it needs to be the awful thing that it is. But when we don't treat it as serious, when we instead make fun of it, then we disempower it, and we take away what can only ever be used for evil, by the way, right? Race is only ever used for evil. It's a way to take an individual human being and reduce them to a member of a group. And somebody who doesn't understand cognitive functions would say, well, Eric, isn't that what you're doing with personality type? Absolutely not. Because race is an arbitrary claim to ontology, whereas cognitive function or attentional manner habits are implicit to the various ways that it's possible for people to engage with the world. You know what, Oliver Lynan? If you were to make a serious webpage about that, you would probably cause various people actual health problems, because people would try, ESPs would buy into that shit, and they start to retain their opinion.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah, they're so fucking gullible.
Yeah. Famous INFJ, J.K. Rowling. That's a good one. She's a good example of an INFJ, not Tori Amos.
ESFPs. Legends fall. ESFPs will buy into it for a few days, Yeah. And then they'll switch on to something else. After they get tired of semen retention, they'll move on to fecal retention. Then they'll move on to fasting. Then they'll move on to water fasting. Then they'll move on to sweating it out every day with a lot of exercise. But that'll only last for a few days too. And then they'll move on to some other crazy fucking nonsense. Rubbing cottage cheese on your face every day maximizes your chakras. It's like, okay, ESFP.
They do buy into that stuff a lot.
It just changes from day to day.
Yeah.
It just changes, and it doesn't matter that what they said yesterday is completely inconsistent with what they said today. And ESPs often have awful aesthetics. They have what you call Brody aesthetics. Tiny Man 6'6". Brody aesthetics include your off-road vehicles, your wife beaters, your keg of beer, or your 24-pack of Bud or whatever, your jet skis on the back being pulled by your truck, and you got your big-titted blonde girl in the seat next to you who's leaning out the window going, woo, because she's already drunk. You call that bad aesthetics, then fine. You're right, Tiny Man 6'6". They've got bad aesthetics. To me, that's tough as hell. That's tough. Okay? Legends Fall, how many wife beaters do you have in your closet? Be honest. Is it more than 60% of your t-shirts?
You know how I know Talia's an ESTP?
How?
She posted a working out video on her Instagram. If you post, you're a SE Dom. If you post, she's like, I was so cut. I was so, like, she's doing chin-ups. She's like, don't look at my face, but I used to be stacked.
Okay, are your t-shirts, do they say something about either a surf product or some sort of like outdoor gear product, or did they say something about like a construction company on them?
Do you like comfy clothes? Do you prefer comfy clothes? Like relaxed fit? Delilah has expressed.
I'm a big believer in comfort retention, which means constantly making yourself uncomfortable so you don't waste any of your comfort. So I wear a hair shirt. Yeah, a hair shirt is there to scratch and itch and cause you discomfort all day long. They used to wear them in the Middle Ages to show how sorry they were for their sins.
Oh.
Legends Fall?
Oh, God.
Are you sure you don't have any Maui and Sons gear? Or the current equivalent? You don't have bro aesthetics?
I don't mean bro aesthetics. I mean comfy, like athleisure.
Legends Fall, you're ruining my stereotypical vision of you. I'm enjoying imagining you going to the river with your bros and some chicks. And, you know, just some, I don't know how it happened, but you stumbled upon somebody who happened to be trying to unload an 8-ball of cocaine, you know? I want that to be you, Legends Fall. I want you to be that guy, okay?
I love that my sister's meant for that kind of person.
Comfy clothes are SI-ish, I guess, sure. I mean, I think your most comfy clothy person are your INTPs and your INFPs, which is third slot SI, selfish.
Mm-hmm. That's why they don't want to go out much. They'd rather stay in like the crappy, comfy clothes they're wearing than.
The truth is, if some outfit makes me look pimpin' enough, even if it's a little uncomfortable, I'll wear it for sure. If I look that pimpin' in it.
Yeah, if you're looking pimpin', you should wear it.
Right. Whereas I don't think INTPs or INFPs are particularly prone to doing that. Although maybe if you have like an INFP, like movie star, like maybe Winona Ryder, let's say, and she has to go to the red carpet, she'll probably conform to the standard and dress fancy.
She would. But
I think other than that kind of context, in general, INFPs and INTPs can't be bothered to look nice.
No, actually, so like I think Larry David is an INTP, and he's always seen in the same like khaki pants, navy blue or black like sweater.
The sleekest thing about the hobo, of course, is the checkerboard pattern handkerchief on a stick that they carry. That's really going to be the next thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Cool.
Let me show you the hobo handkerchief on a stick.
Yeah, the full card has one.
Well, in the old cartoons, it was always red and white, the checkerboard.
Oh.
Hobo.
It's not.
Checkerboard.
Can I get the card to show you?
Handkerchief on a stick. Google suggests that. It's like this, seen here.
Oh, he actually has a satchel.
It's
Yeah, totally. The whole that's like the hitchhiker.
But red. This is the classic one right here.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the classic hobo stick. Now, I'll put a link to it. I'm making the prediction right now that the hobo stick is coming back.
Look, there's a hobo stick.
Mm-hmm. It is. Let me see what color it is.
It's actually like a satchel.
I think it's a satchel of helpful good.
Me too. So we're making a prediction that the hobo checkered bag stick, will be back in the way of living.
Look, Freud and Jung did a few things when Freud was super coked up and Jung was a younger student of his, and he was, he was susceptible to that kind of manipulation. But once Freud quit doing all the blow, they stopped having sex with each other.
Who? Jung and
Freud, yeah.
Oh. Mm.
They thought it was too embarrassing.
They thought it was too embarrassing.
Yeah. We can't have sexual intercourse with each other. We're famous psychologists. As they say.
I mean, that makes sense, right? Because it's going to go down in history.
Have you heard the interview with you? Or do you remember this video where I watched it and I talked about it? In this interview with Jung, that I used to type police Jung and say that he's an INFJ, he tells the craziest story. It can't be true, this story, okay? I can't imagine it's true.
Lie.
This story is true. He says that when he was a small boy, that one time a pack of, I think it was either 6 or 8, it was either 6 or 8 other boys came to beat him up. And he picked up one of the boys and he swung him around and knocked down all the other boys.
That's funny.
This is the story. An old Carl Jung, all gray-haired and raw with his pipe. When I was a child, I once was attacked by a pack of same-age peers. And I picked one of them up by the legs. I swung him around and knocked the other ones down. You're like, Carl Jung, you are lying. That never happened.
That could have been a lie.
There's no way that ever happened,
yeah,
Carl Jung.
SE is so weird in INFJs.
But I mean, how is it the other children are going to stand there long enough to all get knocked over by a swinging person?
Not all of them. Maybe 2 or 3.
Maybe he exaggerated a little, but maybe something like that happened exaggerated. But this scene that I'm picturing is something that could only possibly happen in like a kung fu movie or something.
Yes, it's totally comical.
Yeah.
Totally comical.
Who picks someone up by the feet, swings them around, and knocks other children over?
SE in a weird. The 4 slot is so weird. The aggressiveness comes out of like fucking nowhere.
Maybe
it really does.
Who knows? So, but anyway, I like to picture Carl Jung as he is in that video, looking that age, but scaled down to small child size.
Oh my god, that's great.
Still with his pipe and telling the other children, do you know what the fuck with Carl Jung?
I'm going to call him out and say that's a lie. I think he's exaggerating there.
Okay, he's at least
I do think that there's some elements of it are true, but I think it's an exaggeration. I'm going to call him out.
Trust me, bros. You don't want to fuck with Carl Jung. I one time picked up a boy and swung him around and knocked over like 6 or 8 other children with him.
I actually really do.
I'm Carl motherfucking Jung.
I do get afraid of my own anger sometimes. Like, my throwing of things.
The bar seem to have an odd obsession with hobos today.
Who? The bar?
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you studying the history of hobory for your sociology PhD? I mean, your sociology PhD? Are you? The bar? I think you might be doing that.
You fear your anger, so you killed it. You think you kill it, but then it comes out in the strangest ways.
I got angry at my fear, so I killed it. How about that? I like that better. And it is true. Little known fact. I'm glad the bar's here to share these little known facts with us. Who do you think started Carl's Jr.? Carl Jung. That's by the J, right? And that's why all their burgers taste like archetypes. That's why they have the Western bacon cheeseburger. It's an archetype. It's one of the earliest archetypes that a child develops from their collective unconscious. Mother figure, father figure, Western bacon cheeseburger. Those are the first three, usually. INFJ rage can be brutal. Yeah, it can be a little stark.
Yeah, it's stark. And then we regret everything we said after. It's like the shame shivers so much.
Yeah. When I made a joke the other day in the car about last Christmas, she visibly had the shame shivers.
I did. So, like, can I say something about that night?
Sure.
I, like, pulled out a lamp from a fucking... Because I was, like... I was all up on Christmas for some reason. And... I was like, this fucking stupid-ass lamp here doesn't do shit. I'm like, it's here to show your... I don't know. I was like...
Imitating yourself when you were crazy is scary.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I like it. It's interesting. But you sound like yourself when you're crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
I know how I get.
Say what happened. Tell us about the lamp. Act out the
Okay,
lamp.
so I see this lamp, and I'm like, you fucking don't have any Christmas lights on, but you have this stupid ass lamp for the walkway up to your house. Like, fuck this lamp. So I pulled it out, and I was gonna just like crunch it because I was wearing boots. But there was a wire attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like pulled it out and like threw it into the street. I took this is probably one of the most funny parts of it. I don't know if this like
Go ahead.
Okay. I took an American flag from someone's house and I was walking around the neighborhood like saying I'm Miss America, like I'm the best, like
this is like in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see this like house again that like looks totally Chinesed up. I'm being fucking racist here, but it's true.
Oh.
And or like even Armenian or like some like
gaudiness.
Yeah. And I see this white car outside and it's like an Acura. And I fucking stick the American flag in the radiator part and I left it there.
That was a year ago, more or less.
A
year and a couple days ago. She was batshit crazy at the time, as you can tell by her story here. But it's a beautiful success story.
It is. It really is, though. This is last year's stuff.
And the thing is, what it leads into is the story of us getting the private psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And me, looking through them and picking one that looked like an INTP, basically. And it was a brawling first session because I was basically taking out all of my frustration in the mental health profession on this poor guy who we hired to fix Rachel. And then, he fixed her completely. And, I've since have said to him, hey, you are proof of the power of one smart professional doing their job properly can make, because you changed our lives completely, And he did by just prescribing the right drugs. So,
you proved people right though. And you, because I was just on the wrong medication. I was being treated for the wrong thing. But whatever. So yeah, I got super American and I.
So to be perfectly direct about the thing, it's very possible to be transgender because gender's arbitrary. You can't be transsexual though, even if you get your genitals messed with, because sex is a chromosomal thing. Similarly, it's very possible to be transracial because that's not a real thing. You can't be legitimately trans-ancestral, however. In other words, my ancestors are my ancestors and they differ from yours in some ways. So, okay, that's the reality of it. And I like to make jokes about being transageal. Well, there's something you can't really be. You can't actually be transageal. I'm 49 years old and I'm actually 49. And type is like that. It's kind of like age. It's kind of like handedness.
Yeah.
I am right-handed and I can't be left-handed. And I could work on my left hand a lot, but that wouldn't make me left-handed. So we need to understand also the way that language works, that when we use terms to establish identities for things, some things actually are correctly identified with static identities. And for some things, it's really a form of a category error where we're talking about a process, but giving it an identity and treating it as a static object is one of the frequent ways that people make mistakes in their thinking. I suspect that's common for you, is one of the ways that you have trouble right now with these sort of topics, is just because there are some arbitrary distinctions like gender and race doesn't mean that all distinctions are arbitrary, such as sex and age, right? And that's a problem that people who are TI polar often have, is recognizing that reality. So you may very well be an ENFP or an ESFP and just not really be able to get that kind of stuff, and that's okay.
As I have learned, I am not transnational. I am very much American. I am so American that Europeans do not even look at me because they're like, this girl is so American. Like, she sticks out like a sore thumb, but I don't really care because I am who I am no matter where I go. So,
well, right, it encompasses whatever you want it to encompass. Salem Black, that's what makes it arbitrary. Oh, well, if you are actually an ISTP, then it's possible we'll see more of you around here as you gradually recognize that your supervisor type, MMA, ENTP, is spitting gold bricks, and your TI will be able to go, oh, I can actually analyze this myself and recognize the merit of it independently of his credentials, if you actually are an ISTP. Now, if you are not an ISTP, if you were actually, say, an ISTJ or something, then your TE frame of reference won't allow you to do that.
ENTJs make me like you'd be like dance monkey, and I'd be like, really, like I feel like or I feel like very like skittish around ENTJs because like they're about networking and like using your inner power to like create this like world for yourself and like create a name for yourself, especially, and like screw your name from the past. That doesn't matter. You are who you are now, and you can use who you are now to build and create this like wealth.
When we talk about whether or not personality type changes or something, we don't have to go very far to resolve this matter. We just need to look up the definition of the word personality. It's those aspects of the self that remain the same throughout one's life. So if in fact certain aspects of the self change, then those aren't part of personality. What I'm claiming is that cognitive function stack is not something that changes, but is in fact something that persists from very early in life to the end of your life.
Salem Black, I scored 0 in intellect. Why am I so interested in these topics than Big Five? What do you mean, rather than Big Five? Because I think Big Five is...
Wait, scored 0 in intellect? What the hell does that mean?
I totally ignored that part.
I mean, Salem Black, are you just saying you have a low perception of your own intelligence? It sounds to me like you were with this awful dude who was a TE doctor who hammered a bunch of ontological violence into you to me. So I think maybe your lack of respect for your own intellect is unfounded.
You do give very good relationship advice when it's true.
Oh, you were
Oh,
scolding.
you're scolding the big five.
I
scold the big five too. Because I scored like basically like what it says, like I'm a waste of life.
I was anally wrecking the big five's mom last night. Does that count as scolding?
I think so.
Okay, good. The big five's mom is in Anal Wreckage Anonymous. So.
Oh wow, we're bringing that back.
Anal Wreckage Anonymous has never gone anywhere, Rachel. I'm also celebrating 10 days now. Anal Wreckage free.
Wow.
10 full
I'm
days.
so
Yeah, I got my
glad.
chip today. 10-day chip.
It's the color of your anus.
It was 11 days ago that I shoved the last pineapple up my ass, and I'm confident this time I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm done with that. Okay, the bleeding was really severe this time.
That's gotta hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very
The bar, are you here still? Because I want you to know, here at Anal Wreckage Anonymous, you are not alone. Okay, and we're going to help you with your problem of shoving ridiculously large things up your butt. Maybe you've attempted a goat. That's too big. You're not going to get that up there, mister. No. Sky Gear's not an ESFP. Sky Gear's an INTP, I mean. Thank you, Aisha, for enjoying Rachel laughing at my crude jokes.
Yeah, thank you. I do find Eric very entertaining.
You have incredibly low amount of traits for everything on Big Five. Good. No openness, no agreeableness. Also no neuroticism, though. That's nice.
Wow.
And no...
So it's ocean, right?
No conscientiousness, no openness, no agreeableness, no extroversion, and no neuroticism. Only one of those is good. Maybe two. Extroversion is kind of neutral, but
I scored high on that actually.
What would you? That's what you'd expect when you're taking a test. Is asking to self-report from the subject's perspective, right? It doesn't take into any account values in terms of absolute or instrumentality. It doesn't take into any account whether or not it's from an agential perspective, object perspective, or subject perspective.
I think of myself more as an extrovert because I'm a 7. Like I like to party.
Oliver Linehan, I suggest you make a life hacks channel video because that's a really good life hack right there. If you shove a massive dildo up your ass and leave it there eternally, it greatly aids in retaining your feces.
That's so nice to know.
It's a great life hack.
That really is a life hack.
If you're having trouble with feces retention.
Ooh, why don't you over here?
You look uncomfortable from our perspective.
Yeah, she does.
Our FE is getting in the way of your SI, kitty. You need to sit in a way that appears more comfortable to us.
I don't know. She just seemed to be hanging off of it.
She did. I agree. The ultimate personality test. That's a personality test to test your degree of ultimateness, and you can score ranging from initiatory, continuing, pentultimate, or ultimate. Those are the 4 stages on the ultimate personality test.
What did I score?
Ultimate.
Thank you.
And then what you do is you also take the extreme personality test.
Oh.
And then you see how ultimate you are and how extreme. If you're ultimate extreme, then that's the best you can be. If you're initiating tepid, that's the worst you can be.
Jeez.
It goes tepid, mild, robust, extreme.
I'm happy to hear that Legends fall.
Wow, 99th percentile for ultimateness. What about your extremity? Are you extreme? Remember, it's also, if you're really, really extreme, you can score a 5th level. And that's, you're not just extreme, you're XX extreme.
Cool.
With no E at the front, just 3 X's.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like exercising.
And you're extreme in ultimateness. It's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
You're the ultimate extremity. Or the most extreme ultimatum.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's common for ISTP to score low on everything on the Big Five. I would suspect there are some correlations between Big Five scores and personality type, but I wouldn't know what they are. I don't place a lot of weight on the Big Five.
It's funny, ISTPs aren't really conscientious only when they are working on their pet projects or like making money from something. Really, like.
Yeah.
Am I in the Twilight Zone? This feels like we're still in the previous stream. Actually, you would be wrong because Stark is wearing a different shirt, I think.
I am wearing a different shirt. I took a bath.
Mm-hmm.
I bathed with my body in some water and soap. Combined the 3 into a bath. Plus, I also included in the mix a washcloth.
Aw, see?
True point. True point indeed, yes. You got to pay attention to my shirt, Leaf Tremor. You're not paying enough attention to what shirt I'm wearing.
It might be the Twilight Zone, but...
So, Rachel, let's try singing
Okay.
this So Sad song again.
Okay.
And see how it sounds. I think I would like to record the song with Rachel's vocals and have a video of Rachel singing if I can get a really good take of her vocals and stuff, because obviously it's just sort of inherently more marketable than me singing it. Just brooding here won't do any good, but brooding's more and more my style. I seek the cheery ways of standing where we stood, 'cause I've been stuck here a while. And that's despite a natural selfishness that makes it easy to have fun, but flutters in the gut become a fist as all my visions come undone. I try to stream, distract, and dream the afternoon away, but heavy new realities bear down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it, for reasons still unsaid, but still I need expectorate the words inside my head. It seems like everybody's so sensitive, so eager to just get mad. I seek the civil ways of living like a kid, 'cause who wants to be the dad? Have we lost our sense of scope and scale, our capacity to laugh, the sense to know when not to wail, and how to tip the golden calf? I tried to stream, distract, and dream the afternoon away, but heavy new realities bear down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it, for reasons still unsaid, but still I need expectorate the words inside my head. And so I'm sad, sad for me, sad for her unhappily. What you call sorrow, I call home. blues that sink clear down to the bone. Yeah, I'm so sad for me, sad for her unhappily, and what you call sorrow, I call home. Blues that sink clear down to the bone.
Yay!
So Rachel and I just started sort of practicing that tonight a couple of times through, and I think that's what
We'll get better and better.
I think we're gonna record. It's a good one for her voice once she gets all the different phrasings and stuff down.
Yeah. Melody first and then words. That's the any ignoring. Thanks, Salem Black.
Yeah, thanks, Salem Black. We've tried a couple of other ones to see which ones fit with Rachel's voice the best, and which ones seem like maybe less or more of an undertaking, you know.
Yeah.
And this one is another one that works well with Rachel's
Oh yeah,
voice.
I had the song stuck in my head.
30,000 days, too many expectations, not even worth a damn. 30,000 nights to sleep off the intoxication, otherwise you won't escape the plan. I've wasted half my days trying on others' ways. So who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I'm tired of doing it wrong. Want direction and I follow along. Wait until I know, or is that just hesitation? Clarity's no good once your chance is gone. What I need to show is so below my station. I'm tired of doing it wrong. I wasted half my days trying on others' ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I think I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, I think I'm doing this wrong.
'Cause I think I'm doing this wrong. Doing this wrong. Oh, my voice was shaky.
Sounded good, Rachel. Actually,
Thanks.
it sounded really nice. You probably know this song pretty well, don't you, right?
No.
No good comes from skating on with him whom you'd mistaken for the one. Habituated defense and indecency, self-inflicted eventually once the search is done. Driving in the car last night, we had a massive fight. Each insisting we were right and the other one's to blame. So when you pulled that stunt, I screamed something awfully blunt. My words less wrong as they were dumb. Burned my share of shame. It's each of our own failings, not us doing the nailing to the wall. We feared, so the others sailing off to reset their life and all. You can trust me, I can trust you, though neither trusts ourselves, much true. Love lies deep between you and me. At least about that we can both agree. Driving in the car last night, we had a massive fight. Each insisted we were right and the other one to blame. So when you pull that stunt, I scream something awfully blunt. My words as wrong as they were dumb. I've earned my share of shame. My share of shame. Yeah, so that one we didn't practice beforehand, but sounds good anyway, you know.
Yeah, it's fun. I like, it's fun for me.
It's fun playing songs together.
Playing too. Yeah, it really is.
So we're gonna keep working on that and a couple of these songs and try to record them with Rachel being the primary vocals, and then we'll do a video with Rachel being the primary person in the video as well. And I bet those will do better than with me singing.
Whatever works.
Look, I had the same theory with Spacey, which is basically you need a younger person, or a chick is also really helpful.
You know it.
An attractive female, somebody who looks good on camera. And Rachel is quite striking on camera.
Thanks.
Like either full body, like dancing kind of thing, or just her head, because she's got the beta quadra eyes. And she's a lot more, appealing to look at than I am. Just by virtue of the way life is. Anyway, try this guy's toothpaste. you won't regret it.
You're very, very handsome, and
I'm so very cherry, as they used to say.
I'm lucky that your dad gave you bad advice when you were younger, so that now you can be with someone that you're actually attracted to.
That's true.
And I'm sorry that I got butthurt about the whole marriage thing. I guess
it's fine.
Cool.
I get it.
Actually, I'm gonna have the sativa next.
Do so.
Please.
This is the indica.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jack's sativa.
Yeah, the Jack's sativa.
Seems a lot of people like to debate about one person's type in the comments. It happens occasionally that people debate about a type versus type.
Yeah, that does happen here.
Leaf Trimmer is just pulling your leg.
Yes, he is.
The bar. Just to be clear. Okay. I don't have any idea what type you are. Nobody does. Right?
No, it's really impossible to tell.
To type people from the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is impossible to type people from the chat. I thought I had successfully. I used to try to do that occasionally. I remember with Philosophical Thinker, I typed him as something from the chat, and then when I actually typed him in person, I realized he was an ISFP.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't want to be an ISFP for some reason. Or he was either an ISFP or an ISTJ, one of the two. And he didn't like those types,
Yeah. Well, I wasn't happy. I remember when I got ENFJ. I mean, ENFJ, I was a little bit you're are you upset about that? I was like, well, mostly because ENFJs that I know disappoint me.
She didn't like ENFJs. Hi, Rachel. How are your festivities going? What do we get for Christmas?
Oh, hey, Susie.
We didn't really get much. I mean, we got each other some things.
Well, I want to, what you got me at Ulta was super, super nice. I consider, makeup and stuff like that, to be a frivolous buy that, it's like pleasurable for myself. Like I would never expect anyone else to like buy it for me. So the fact that you did get all that stuff like really did mean a lot to me. Plus you got the buffonite tooth, which is so freaking cool.
It was pretty neat though. I like that thing too.
Yeah. And when I put it on my third eye, I wasn't really like trying to be funny about it. I actually
kind of fits there nicely.
Yeah, it did.
On typing session videos, a lot of people like to argue about one person's type. They get defensive about their type. I mean, it's true. A lot of people like to argue about type on those videos.
Mm-hmm.
He was here on Christmas Day. He said, "Am I allowed here since it's Christmas Day?" He had still a name Cloud. It must have been a different Cloud account,
right?
But it was still called Cloud.
Yes, that's right. But, he was here.
I said, "Yeah, you can be here."
He has everyone on Discord thinking that I'm ESFJ.
Right. So he wants to be someplace where he can kind of have more success in controlling the flow of the narrative. He's not having any success around here, and it eventually started to drive him crazy. Like, he just couldn't stand the fact that he couldn't get on top of the narrative around here. So
yeah, so he was
how were your festivities?
One of those people.
Susie? Did you get your two front teeth for Christmas?
Yeah,
You've been asking for those for years. Every year I say, "What do you want for Christmas, Susie?" She says, "My two front teeth." I say, "You still haven't gotten those yet?"
That's so cute. You know what? Hey, CJ O'Connell. Right back at ya. Belated Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you too.
Happy Boxing Day, everybody.
And also Kwanzaa.
And Kwanzaa.
That's why
Boxing
I
Day
took
and
some
Kwanzaa.
speed today. Yeah, that was my excuse. Excuse. Like I need an excuse.
The unfortunate thing is only black for like 15 minutes today. That's so unfortunate because it is Kwanzaa, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be cool
well, you've been you know why?
Why?
Because you've been spending a lot of time in your Canadian Boxing Day roots.
That's true.
You've already said it twice.
Yeah. It's obviously a Canadian day for me today.
Mm-hmm. You even said that fairly Canadian-like.
There was a particular picture on that Windows put as my opening lock screen the other day, Susie, and I really liked the picture. I was like, "What a cool looking place! Where is that?" And I looked up there. Where was it? Norway.
Yeah, it was Norway. Yeah,
Norway.
yes.
Norway really is super cool.
Yeah.
I've never been there, but I want to go because what a cool looking place that picture showed.
Well, what did it look like again?
There was a little village that was like in between all these big snowy mountains.
Oh.
And it was all snow, and then there were like these little islands covered with snow, and there were the houses on the little islands. Oh
yes, that's right. You're saying it looked Christmassy.
It was super Christmassy looking. Yeah.
Didn't you guess it was Norway or something?
No, I didn't know where it was. I just looked at I went up to the thing. I said, "Okay, Bing, you got me. I want to see what this one is."
Yeah.
I normally don't look to see what the picture is, you know.
I'd go to Norway.
Yeah, well, we're going to go visit Norway at some point. We just need to suddenly get a lot more money.
That's fine. You know I know that.
Norway ain't cheap.
No, Norway. Norway ain't cheap. The Netherlands is not cheap at all.
Yeah, that would be 40 Norway dollars. You go, how much in America? That's 4,000 American dollars. 40 Norway dollars is 4,000 American dollars? That's terrible. Yeah.
What did your dad say about
Norway? Susie, do you still show your Norwegian friends the Norway video that we made together? The very important Norway video that we made?
I saw that video. I saw part of it anyway.
The Norwegian Tourism Advisory Council video that we made?
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, you've seen part of it, I know. I'm asking Susie, I want her to spread the word amongst her Norwegian friends that there's an American out there who's doing their work for them. basically.
True.
See, this is the Norway Advisory Board's Fjord Guide for Tourists, and yet I don't know why, for some reason, it only has 300 some odd views, even though it's very old, right? This is not like a new video for me. But the narrator to this is Susie.
Oh, cool.
Like almost all Norwegians, I spend most of my time here at Norway's signature landmass, the fjord. Hi, my name is Egbo Samsu, and I'm from Norway. Although Scandinavian, my people lack wooden shoes, tulips, white and blue hats, even windmills.
Aww.
What do we get in exchange? Fjords, naturally. These just the water betwixt mountains comprise both our national pride and the engine of a robust economy. In Norway, nearly every minute of every day is centered around the fjord. Norwegian fishermen pull the fruit of the fjord to be salted and feasted upon throughout our long winter nights. Our farmers plant meager plots of beans and peanuts along the rocky slopes high above the waterways. Lagoons provide the bulk of our people's protein. Yes, fjord living sure is fine. I've been Negbo Samsu. Thanks so much for listening, and as we say in Norway, you're always home in the fjords.
To the J, to the O, to the R, to the Fjords. It's the Fjords. Fjords spells Fjords. They're the best. FJ. FJ. Not a lot of words that start with FJ, but Fjords does. Fjords, cause I'm going to Norway. I'm gonna hang at the fjord today.
Yeah.
Sargo Joey lead me to the fjord of Norway. This ain't Denmark, no Holland, no Finland, no Sweden, no Scandinavian, sure, but that's the poor way. But this is motherfucking Norway. I like the fjords. Bee horde. I'm hoarding bees down at the fjord. Geez. Are you the police of the fjord bees or what? Knock that shit out, fjord. Geez. Norway has a shit ton of fjords. Everybody come and look at my fjords.
It's great. Seriously.
Norway has a
And I
shit ton
really
of
like
fjords.
Susie.
Everyone come and look at the fjords.
I want to look at the fjords now.
Who doesn't want to look
I
at
didn't
them?
know. I didn't even know about the fjords.
Susie spends 99% of her time in the fjords.
I have a question. Is Oslo the capital?
Of Norway? I think so. I think Oslo's the capital. It's the biggest city in Norway, I believe.
Okay. My sister got proposed to in Oslo.
By her now ex-husband.
It was very romantic.
How sad though.
They were activity partners, I think.
Yeah, ISFJ and ENTP,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, that's activity partners. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
So lasts for a while. I don't know. They went on some vacations together, but ultimately he's a Long Island boy and he loves it there. So he's not looking to really travel, and she wants to. So
You know,
she's literally living. Actually, she's going to be living in Europe. So
the cool thing about cognitive functions, the bar, is that we don't need to rely on unreliable correlates like the Big Five, which is a strange way to determine someone's type, when we can actually do a process analysis. So, for example, if you're not a fan of Bayes' theories, then we can be really precise. I could give you a TI test, basically a conditional logic test, to show how you approach the process known as disinterested calculus. Would you like to take that test? and we'll see how you do. And then that can eliminate potentially ENFP or ESFP for very concrete reasons that I can explain.
I took it.
Now, if in fact you are ENFP or ESFP, what that would mean is that you would not be able to do any of these questions. Okay, so and that's okay too. If you can't do these questions, that's okay. But it does mean that you probably are an ESFP or an ENFP. Because the only people who really struggle a great deal with them, let's try a couple of verbal ones first. So the bar. Who is my mother's husband in relation to me? And just try to answer as fast as you can.
So, Susie, the INTP who proposed to my sister, he was really afraid to fly and like travel and stuff, and he took the leap. He was like, "No, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna surprise her. I'm gonna go there and propose to her in Oslo." She had no idea, and his love for traveling started in Oslo. He loved it there. He loved the Norwegians and everything about it. So after that, like he was a little bit more comfortable with traveling. So, oh my gosh! Big sneezes for little Eric. They don't know this. How little.
Well, Sean, the thing is, I suspect that my question was, who is my mother's husband in relation to me?
Right. There's this concrete answer. Yes, that's exactly what he said, Susie.
Norway is a chill place to start, small, different, relatively safe, etc.
He said, yeah. That's exactly what he said.
Well, maybe you're not CJ O'Connell. We've already posited that you're probably INFP. ENFP. Multiple times. And God bless you too, Leaf Trimmer. Regardless of whether you sneezed.
That's nice. God bless you too.
Right, yeah, 4th and 7th they're both quote unquote weak, but okay, so grandparent is a very TI, but look, grandparent is a very TI polar answer to that question. You are correct. It's one of my grandparents. But somebody who is accustomed to a TI frame of reference would naturally say grandfather because it's my mother's husband.
Yeah.
When people say, well, give me an example of what a TI polar answer looks like. And I'll say, well, who is my mother's sister in relation to me? And an ESFP will say, family? That's TI polar because it's it's an example of just simply not processing through that frame of reference. So, for example, the bar, if I were to ask you, if all squirrels eat nuts and some things that eat nuts play baseball, is it the case necessarily that some squirrels play baseball? How would you answer? And I'll repeat the question for you. If all squirrels eat nuts and some things that eat nuts play baseball, is it necessarily the case that some squirrels play baseball?
I want to see.
Don't anybody answer. Just let the bar answer as best you can. We'll see what he says. And, if you're TI higher up in the stack, if you're TI, Oliver Ryan, you did not listen to me. If you're TI higher up in the stack, you'll be able to give the correct answer and explain why. So the answer to the bar is no, it's not necessarily the case simply because all squirrels eat nuts and some things that eat nuts also play baseball doesn't mean that those nut eaters that play baseball necessarily include any squirrels. So that kind of explanation is typical for somebody who has TI in the first or second slot. They'll be able to say no because you said some and then right? Okay. My bad, Oliver. So, it would suggest that the bar, so let's try another one. And note again, speed of answer also is relevant. So if you're answering as fast as you can, then that's an indication as well. Here's another kind of TI question. There are two statements. The tomatoes die and it freezes. There's one sentence. If it freezes, then the tomatoes die. Now, for each of the statements, it's either true or false. It's either true the tomatoes die, or it's false the tomatoes die. And it's either true that it freezes, or it's false that it freezes. So, in other words, you can have 4 permutations. It's true it freezes, and it's true the tomato dies. It's false it freezes, it's true the tomato dies. It's true it freezes, it's false the tomato dies. Or it's false it freezes, and it's false the tomato dies. Only one of those 4 permutations renders the sentence as a whole. If it freezes, the tomatoes will die. False. Which of those sentences renders this? Which of the permutations renders the sentence as a whole false? What kind of celebrity are you? The tiny kind, who's got 2 6s.
That's a good answer.
Is there a difference between how an ESFP and ENFP answers TI questions? ENFP seems somewhat more adversarial to them, whereas ESFP seems more confused by them. So, this last one is a more challenging one. But I will repeat it. There are 2 statements. It freezes and the tomatoes die. It freezes, the tomatoes die. Each of those statements can be either true or false. Either it's true, it freezes, and it's false, the tomatoes die. It's false, it freezes, it's true, the tomatoes die. It's true, it freezes, it's true, the tomatoes die. Or it's false, it freezes, it's false, the tomatoes die. Only one of those 4 permutations renders the sentence as a whole. If it freezes, then the tomatoes die. False. Which one of the permutations renders the sentence as a whole false? This is a higher level TI question, although not a particularly difficult one, really. But it has a lot of complicated explanation compared to some other ones. But it'll certainly help us to determine whether the bar is front stack or back stack, potentially. This is one where a 4th slot or a 3rd slot might have trouble getting it. I typed INFJs who got it wrong. I typed INFJs who got it right, but you couldn't explain why they got it right. Well, so yeah, the difference is basically what we saw with the bar's response to the question about the grandfather, where they said grandparent. That's a very TI polar kind of response, because it suggests that they don't get what you're looking for. You're looking for the precise answer. Another TI polar kind of answer would be if I say some birds like worms, and some things that like worms enjoy nests, then is it necessarily the case that some birds like nests? They're going to say, well, yeah, some birds like nests. Of course, most birds like nests, right? Like, they'll not get that you're supposed to do a calculation there, and the answer is no, it's not necessarily the case. And there's a good reason as to why it's not.
I haven't heard of it.
I've never heard the term, but I will say that it sounds like what my daughter's mom does to her, which is she expects her to be a source of the mom's emotional comfort rather than vice versa. And that's always been the case. But fortunately, my daughter didn't spend much time with her until she was about 8 years old.
You're pretty developed by 8.
It's a really loaded term. I don't like it. It's a super loaded term.
Yeah, it is.
But the thing you're describing, I would say, is indicative of Delilah's relationship with her mom. Yeah. And it's like, I'm not one who's particularly sensitive about triggery stuff in general, but the trigger is right here. That's a terrible term.
Yeah. Are INFJs funny in y'all's opinion?
They can be. They can be hilarious, but they're not as quick witted as ENTPs, but they can be funnier. Really, like some of the funniest things that I've ever heard came out of Corey's mouth. I might make 15 jokes that are all pretty damn good, and then he'll fucking hammer it home with something just stunning.
Yeah.
I still reference a lot of things that I got from Corey as jokes and stuff. Like vaginal blood sploosh splash party. I got that from Corey.
I have it right now.
It's a hilarious expression.
It is.
Vaginal blood sploosh splash party.
Sploosh splash party. That's
Right,
so
it's
funny.
great. He also made up it's Goldilocks and you go outside and it's cold. It goes, oh, it's Goldilocks and the three birds. It's like, that's hilarious. Yeah, you saw an old video where we were talking about inadequate yar. Right. That's Corey making me
That
laugh.
is so funny. Oh, PNP. What are you gonna be? She's like, you guys are still talking? I am unipolar and I cannot take any more words.
You just go to sleep like a beauty, kitty.
She is a beauty.
Oh, the beautiness. Kitty. You've seriously got to stop. What? Stop what? Well, stop constantly re-astonishing me with your beauty again for the millionth time. That's what you have
Oh
to
my
stop
gosh,
doing.
look at her. Isn't she a kitty pageant winner? With just two paws stretched out.
What a noble beast. The nobility of your beasthood is constantly re-astonishing me again for the millionth time. I can't help it. I have to pet you.
Right? That's how I feel too.
I can't stop myself. I'm sorry.
Usually she really doesn't mind because she's FI dumb.
She's pretty tolerant of our affections.
She really is.
Considering she probably would prefer to just be left there to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't she a lovely kitty pageant winner?
She really is. Really, truly.
But you know what? Corey could be funny on the fly too. I want to take that back a bit because he freestyles some funny ass shit. Like, this song he has called Performance Reviews, where he goes, I'm going to get a paper, take it to HR, take it over here, give you your performance review. It's like, it's him rapping as Don Knotts being a HR director giving performance reviews to people. I mean, what a crazy, funny idea,
That
right?
is.
I'm Don Knotts giving you performance reviews. Go to HR, get me the paper, bring me the paper, I'll give you your performance review.
I think we riff off of each other pretty well too.
Yeah, we do. The thing is, originally I haven't made much media about it. We do it sometimes in the car.
It's fun.
It's fun. She'll like interview me as a character or something or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
We work great together, but we haven't really made any media like that yet together.
Okay.
Possibly because it's a scary kind of media to
Oh
make.
my god, it is. We got to because I used to do it as a kid, so like we're both pros at this. So we just gotta jump in. I propose that maybe we do a Mindy New Year special.
That's a good idea. The thing is, I mean, I wouldn't call that any humor. I don't know what that is. Pervy thumbnails? What pervy thumbnails? I don't have pervy thumbnails, do I?
Where?
I don't think I have any pervy thumbnails.
Thumbnails? No. Where?
Tiny Man 66, I'm sure we're misunderstanding or she's talking about something. We're making a joke.
Why are
or
your
something.
pervy thumbnails reported?
I don't think I have any pervy thumbnails.
Are they-
Well, we can conclude.
Oh, the dumb ones. No. That's fun. It's the Mindy Club, right?
Oh,
Mindy?
you mean my Mindy things? Well, first of all, I made it 18. I said it's age. I set an age limit on on Mindy stuff. They're way worse than my mother-son incest fantasies. No, they're not.
That's so not. That is so not. How
Having-
could you put that in the same category?
Mindy's not underage. She's a college student.
She's, and even if she were in
And
high
so
school,
is Tiffany. Remember, in the first episode of Mindy's Club, they say, we're here to make college just like high school is in the movies. That's their goal.
Thank you for recalling that.
So they are college age girls, okay? And Tiffany is a dumb ESFP who can never find her clothes. I don't know where my clothes are. I just got dropped off like this.
It's funny that you said that, Winston's mom, because I wore a cachet dress to my prom. It fit me like a glove. It was my cousin's, so I didn't have to buy one.
Okay, Tiny Man 66, I don't know where this came from, why we're needing to hear this. I am not going to argue against or in favor of the thing you're talking about. I don't even want to touch that particular line of argumentation with a 50-foot pole. Guys, who's my mother in relation to me? I'm T.I. Polar. I need a little help. Is it your sister? Oh, it's my mother. Okay, I think it's almost 1 a.m.
Wow.
About ready to end the stream.
Yeah.
All right, we love you all. See you later.
Bye.